Shout out Big Steve.
Welcome to another episode of the Big Brain MMA podcast, episode 118. Like always, we're going to try and make some money on a UFC card. This time it's UFC 298, Volkanovski versus Topuria. If it's your first time listening, welcome, and I'm a full-time MMA gambler, Steve. Trying to do this, trying to make a living, so I don't go back to my 9 to 5. I will be trying something else today, a different kind of breakdown. I will get into it after the recap, and let's not waste any time. Richard, excited for this. I'm on Hernandez. We'll talk about it. Thanks for listening, mate. Gwimbot's up. Greg Lee. It's so strange but cool that you rub one out before stream, Steve. Look, this is a safe space. No judgment. Hey, what's up, big man? Subhuman, hello, sir. Thanks for subscribing last week. Big up, Steve and Big Brain, LP. Yes, a keeper. We'll address that right now, shall we? So last week, we escaped with a 1 unit profit, 1,500. Could have been better. It was a little bit disappointing. So we'll start with LFA. The card was a complete pass. Only had one bet on the under 1.5 rounds in the Ricci junior fight. It was the first fight of the card, extremely low level. I passed on it at minus 200, but then someone in my Discord, Dogfather, said it was free money, and I went back and ended up playing it at a much worse price. Obviously, couldn't tip it. I played for half a unit on Pinnacle and moved to unplayable prices. So that's the issue with Bet Online and these, over-unders when every single, half unit moves the line. But yeah, I got to thank that. I got to thank it to him. Sometimes you get completely burnt out, and when you tape a fight, nothing registers, which is the worst thing. But yeah, 660 profit there, which, I'll always take that. Better than nothing. And then we move on to Octagon. So Octagon, the first fight was I had Sami Zarabi. I had half a unit to win 1,000. I annoyed at myself for reducing that. It was plus 140, $2.40. He won 30.27, looked massive favorite. So I ended up just winning half a unit there, 765. Then I had a parlay of Khan Ali and Dalisa in the main event. Khan Ali won with round 1 KO, and Dalisa won, just a clear decision. I only had half a unit there because Khan Ali was an amateur debutant, and his amateur record was a bit salty. I don't want to go big on these dudes making their first professional fight. So I won 644 there. And then I had a massive bet on a keeper, 2,250. Obviously lost that. He fought a 40-year-old Croatian guy who hasn't beat anyone good. That's literally his best win now. So yeah, I was going to go 2 units, but I saw some massive red flags from a keeper. He kept grappling Matthew Bonner, and he still lost to 29-28, and he hurt Bonner in round 2. Bonner's never been knocked out until Panez. I just thought, man, this guy's a moron. Why is he grappling the grappler? He's a kickboxer. And then, then I went back and spoke to some people, and I'm like, yeah, this Croatian dude is completely washed. He will fight for your money. He's got a good guillotine, but it's like a keeper really should be beating this guy, and he just pulled a massive stunt. So yeah, he's on my blacklist. Lost 840 there, a little bit over a unit. If I didn't hedge Zahrabi, and if I put a full unit on the parlay, it would have been breaking even. But that's just a lesson in, my staking, which needs a bit of work. I staked the keeper properly, and then the other 2 bets not so much. So a little bit down after LFA and Octagon, and then we made 1,700 on UFC. It was actually a tough card, and I was happy with it, other than some bad bets. So had Bogdan Goskov round 1 KO and the under 1.5 to win 1,900. Really happy with that play. A lot of people on Zach Parga, a lot of people saying Goskov was a fraud, but Zach is a fraud himself. I had Daniel Marcos by KO. I liked the under there, but it was mostly predicated on how hittable Richie Lang was. I think I was a bit saved there by the no contest. Richie Lang did get busted up, but it was just a low output affair. So yeah, I was happy with everything, and then I kind of forced Devin Clark. I avoided Devin Clark all week. My friend hit him at a bit of a better line, and I said, look, Prasnia has good get-ups. I hated it when I saw him lose a competitive 29-28 to Linz, who I think is levels above Clark, has better jiu-jitsu, that's for sure. But, as the week went on, I was like, yeah, Clark probably wins 29-28, a sloppy one, when Prasnia slows down in the third. And then I got greedy, and I had FOMO, and and played KO decision on Clark, $1.70, 30 cents almost better. And obviously lost to 30-27, pathetic. And I hated myself because I hate Clark. I always fade him. And I just played an awful bet. So, yeah, lost 1,000 there, almost all of my Bogdan profits. Hit Carlos Prates, that was my biggest bet. Same as 2,600 to win 1,250, right? So not 2 units, just because I thought I was going to be losing until he didn't. And, I mentioned that on the podcast. Went exactly like that. It was going to be a bit sweaty because Giles, he's talented, but yeah, he was not going to win a 3-round decision. Rodolfo Vieira, I just played $1,000 on Rodolfo's 1-round takedown at -200 to win 500. That was easy money. I regret not playing the money line there. That's my fault. Threw away 750 on Michael Johnson, Darius Flowers to end in KO at -200. That was super forced. Bad bet. Last minute. I'm still prone to impulsive decisions. And then I live bet Jack Hermanson, $200 to win 666 at probably the best line live, $4.50, plus 550 live. That was a regret that I didn't go bigger, and I regret that I didn't put a quarter unit money line because I really liked it when I finished tape. So 1,700, a little bit over a unit. Bad bet on Clark, awful bet on Flowers, ends by KO, and could have gone a little bit bigger on Jack Hermanson. Just pussy it out. So, yeah, those were the issues. If I just didn't throw away $1,000 on Clark, 2,700, I would have been really happy with the card. But at the end of the day, it's profit. 1 unit profit. We move on at 11,500 or something like that for the year. We'll look to have a much better week this week. So in terms of the podcast, what I'm going to be doing from now on is I'm just going to be talking about my bets on the card. I know that's a bit funny because a lot of times I have no bets. I just pass everything, and everyone makes fun of me. But if that's the case, I'll just talk about the bet that I like for each single fight, and it just stops me. There's a few reasons why I'm doing that. It's going to be a quicker podcast. It stops me waffling on about fights that I have no leans on. Yes, that makes me sound like a genius sometimes if I guess the lean and it happens and everyone's like, oh wow, Steve predicted this fight perfectly. But if there's no bets involved, no one. Sometimes people might play something. People have thanked me for hitting a bet that I broke down perfectly, but I didn't bet it myself. But yeah, I'm just going to stick to the bets, why I bet them, what I would like to bet on this fight, and then I'll just move on. It gives you the most value out of the podcast. This is a betting podcast. It never was a pick podcast. And I think this is just going to amplify it, make it even more, a picks podcast, just the betting, make it even more just a picks podcast, betting podcast. Fuck me. Made the same mistake 3 times. So we'll see how it goes. Trialing it out today. And, you're either going to like it or hate it, but we'll see. It's all about making money. If you didn't like this, obviously unfortunate, but I'll put a timestamp so you can skip it. All right. Let's go through the comments. Shelter. I need to learn not to fade a fade with another fade. That's correct. That's a big one, sir. Piper was a 6-unit swing because of a parlay, but basically broke even. Yeah, you shouldn't have parlayed Piper. What can I say? Hopefully you learn from it. My man Steve, what's up, baby boy? How you doing? I'm doing great, man. Had a coffee for once. So hopefully you can sense that I'm a bit more up and about. Big Steve's betting podcast. I like it. Yeah, hopefully I come up with a better name than that. George, good show with Lou yesterday. Alrighty. First fight, Andrea Lee versus Miranda Maverick. This is a clear dog or pass. Always is. I've never been impressed with Maverick. She's, not athletic. Everyone talks about her physicality, but she's not physical at all. And, on the other side, KGB, Andrea Lee, she's 35 and she's lost a bunch of fights, but she's a ranked fighter. And this is a massive step down for Andrea Lee. And it's a massive step up not a massive step up, but a step up from Ashley Young's and, Mazo's, Shana Young and Mazo's and Priscilla Cachoeira and Luana Jujua. So I think this would be Maverick's best win, honestly. And on the feet, I think Andrea Lee is going to light her up. But the reason I passed on this fight is Andrea Lee's main issues are always the takedown defense. And the big one is IQ. Right? IQ, she's always throwing naked leg kicks and getting caught, naked body kicks. And especially when she gets tired, against against Viviani and stuff. She just keeps doing it. The mistakes come out so much more, and it's like I can't. Yeah, so you can pay the price on bad IQ if there's a bit of value there, a lot of value. But I feel like this is maybe 60-40 to Maverick. Her round 3 is the best round. She's probably gonna shoot a lot. But yeah, I can see, yeah, easy dog or pass. That would be my play if I had to play anything, but I'm just passing. I'm passing because, yeah, Lee's a bit of a head case. Oh, man. Val, Woodburn, Oban, Elliott. This is a crazy fight in terms of the line, right? I mean, easy dog or pass here. The price on Oban is crazy considering I don't rate him at all. I really wanted to fade him in the UFC. I faded him against Kike Brito. Beautiful name also by Brito. And, I didn't play his money line. I played his KO. And I was a little bit tilting. And I'll be honest, Oban back in the day, he used to be a lot more a lot worse. They said they started taking his career more seriously, and that makes sense because you can see improvement from fight to fight. I've never been impressed by him. He goes for takedowns. He's very patient, and yeah, he goes for takedowns, but he's not dangerous and he doesn't have good control. Woodburn, I take this guy and I'm like, this guy, if he's any decent, he should be able to be. He should be value. But man, he's I don't know what to say about him. Yeah, I see a lot of people saying he's going to knock out Elliott. He's not one of these black dudes that's explosive. That's all I'm going to say. He's only finished absolute bums, and he's only fought bums other than his debut in the UFC, and he's only finished massive bums, and it's usually attritional ground and pound. I think this fight, it's clear dog or pass, and the other one is the over. I was considering the over at plus money, just because Oban does nothing, he's not dangerous. Val does nothing, he's not dangerous. There's going to be a lot of clinching here, a lot of ground game. I think Woodburn is durable. That knockout he copped from Bo Nickal's done that before. I think he's special. We're going to see a lot more of his striking. The only reason I passed is because Woodburn slows down. And, if it's a 2.5, maybe it happens late round 2, maybe late round 3, and he just kills the over 2.5. And also Woodburn dropping down to welterweight. I have tons of questions. The dude has more wins, more fights at heavyweight and light heavyweight than he does at middleweight, and now he's dropping to welterweight for the first time in his life. So, if he was some out of shape guy on the regionals, with a bit of chub and he's taking his career seriously, I would like it more. But he's all muscle. He's built like prime Ronnie Coleman, and he needs to do a lot of cardio, cut a lot of muscle. I feel like, from my experience, those kind of weight cuts just gas you out, but. Yeah, it's just a pass all around for me. Dog or pass or the over would be my play. But speaking of passes all around, Josh Quinlan, Danny Barlow. I mean, again, I'm not really a fan of Josh Quinlan. I think he's not really UFC level. He's one of those Hawaiian dudes that his power is overrated. He's sloppy. He's hittable. He's durable. He's just a brawler. He has a black belt, but rarely uses it. On the other hand, Danny Barlow, I think there's a chance he's UFC level. I think he's got a lot more potential. He's a lot sharper with his striking, at least. I do have a big regret not playing him a pick'em against Raheem Forrest, who I thought, I don't know why I didn't play him. It's because I saw some issues on the ground from Barlow, and I think a lot of people playing Josh Quinlan here is because of those issues on the ground. But I don't know. This fight. There's so many things I want to play, and I want to play Josh as a dog. Honestly, Danny is tempting as a parlay piece, but there's no way I'm playing a fight that feels like a Dana White Contender Series fight at minus 200. I considered the over just because of his durability, Quinlan's durability, and some people in the Discord were telling me about it. And then I seen how hittable Josh is, and then I was like, all right, maybe I should play the under. And then the market agrees. The over-unders just keep going up and down. So it just seems like a complete pass for me. I'm not going to waste too much time. Let's move on. Speaking of complete passes, Jesus. Mingyang, Zhang versus Brendson, Ribeiro. I mean, there's a bit of a theme on this card. It's not an easy card to bet. I looked at this early days because someone in my Discord had a max bet on Zhang, and I was like, man, that's, I respect the guy. I got to look into this. And I just left thinking, no way does this even get a unit out of me, let alone a max bet. So I just quickly moved on. Extremely volatile fight. On fights like these, I usually bet something safer, like the unders, where both guys can win by in the same fashion and lose in the same fashion. Obviously, it's completely unplayable. It's the exact same price as last week's under 0.5, which was Poteria versus Bresky. That one was far from a lock, right? That one we had Poteria, who's durable. We had Bresky, who's only lost via decision other than Kike, and Poteria doesn't really hit that hard. This one I think is more accurate, and this is probably more of a lock. I'm just not rushing to play the under at that. Yeah, I mean, what is there to say? Nothing really. Maybe some props, maybe some round one props if I revisit this fight on a guy that I think is more likely to get a KO. But honestly, Ribeiro, I would say Ribeiro looked much better than his regional tape in Contender Series. And he's 27, so I think we're going to see the best of him from here on out. But yeah, super volatile fight, nothing for me. All right, let's address the comments and then I'll move on to the next fight. What do we have? Val is the new William Knight. I definitely agree that he's more like William Knight than anyone else. William Knight actually hits harder than Val as well. He's going to sleep Oban? Yeah, I don't think so. Elliott's line, disgusting, but he will win. That's how I feel. I feel like I want to fade him so bad, but I see progression fight to fight. And Kike, even though he barely won, it was Kike more losing that fight than anything. I do, he did look much better than his Contenders Cage Warriors fights. Like I do believe that the narrative that he's actually training full time and he's not being cocky like he used to be in Cage Warriors. Yeah, it's just like one of those like Woodburn. If Woodburn was a KO striker like people say he is, then yeah, I would definitely take the poke. But he's not. He's just like a slow. He's really slow and unathletic. He's got way too much muscle on him. Quath MMA, I got Burrito, $1.67, close 140. Yeah, I didn't even feel comfortable in that money line. I just played the KO at plus money, which was again tilting. Under 1.5 at 215. Which fight is this, Glimbot? Barlow 6.2, 80-inch. Correct. That is correct. Rib sub 1-2 might be cheeky. Yeah, there's a few options on this fight. Oh, Dan, half the battle. What's up, Big Steve? Thank you for tuning in live, mate. This could be the first time I've had you in here. Just in time for my new way of breaking down the show. All right. Rinya Nakamura versus Carlos Vera. Again, Rinya is completely unplayable. I also think Vera's unplayable. He's got awful takedown defense. He's basically a jiu-jitsu guy. And his path here is to, I guess, submit an Olympic wrestler. Right, so that's his path. If you're going to play him playing by sub, I just don't envision a way Carlos Vera can win a decision against someone like Rinya. He's drawing dead everywhere, on the feet, on the ground, unless he catches a guillotine or something. I lost some money on Nakamura sub against Fernie, which was a little bit tilting, but we saw, Fernie's an absolute beast when it comes to not tapping. This over-under is jumping over and up and down. People just keep putting money on both sides, which is kind of how I feel. I feel like Carlos Vera, he's tough, he's durable. There was a fight where he got dropped clean like 3 times. He probably doesn't survive that if it happens here because that guy was a 5-5 fighter. I think Rinya cracks much harder. I don't know. I'm considering that sub just because Vera just gives up his back a lot. And I might even play Enzin sub. If it's decent, hopefully covers Carlos Vera guillotine, hopefully covers Nakamura sub. And that way I don't have to, lay big money on the unders, the under 2.5, the under 1.5. Yeah, who knows? But that's the only way you can play this fight. Finish props, over-unders. Instead of a strong lean. Alrighty. The Lima versus Justin Tafa. So I finally have a bet. And it's a fight that a lot of people seem to hate. So I ended up playing Marcos Rogério de Lima, $1.66. I could get $1.70, but I thought, it's giving me like $70 difference for a unit. So I get it. This fight and one of the other fights I played, it's kind of a theme where no one wants to touch this fight, and everyone is seeing things differently. Basically what it comes down to, I think the Lima has him covered in a lot of spots. I think he's more durable. His only KO was a Derek Lewis KO. He had his flying knee. He wasn't even out from there, which is insane. There was a lot of ground and pound. He was, moving on the ground. Didn't get quit until just he was in turtle eating bombs. He had some clean shots from Blagoy, who was a southpaw. I think he's faster. I think he has way more power. He's deaded people before. Good people, unlike Justin Tafa. Power. He's got more variety. He's got kicks, leg kicks, brutal leg kicks, high kicks. He's got that takedowns and the jiu-jitsu game, which I don't actually think he needs to go to here. He might just gas him out. I think strike Tafa and maybe even knock him out. It's just durability, speed, power, variety of strikes, ground game. Yeah, everything. Tafa, you look at Tafa. I didn't want to go deep into this fight, but I had to. You look at Tafa, he's losing decisions to Felipe and Jared Bandera, two of the worst guys in the UFC that have been cut since. He got knocked out cold with one punch by Jorgen De Castro. And since then, they're just giving him absolute cupcakes. Harry Hunsucker, Austin Lane. Parker Porter, props to him. That's his best win. He knocked him out. Porter is semi-durable. He's not like a flake like these other dudes. But yeah, he was hurt by Felipe. He was hurt by Jared Bandera. Like, these guys can't bust a grape. He backs up and he's literally stunned by their punches. And obviously, De Castro put him out cold. Like, I think Lima is in a different stratosphere. When I finished tape, I would do agree it was scary. It was scary. It was like, I'm betting on a 38-year-old heavyweight that's just been KO'd. And I get it. But like everyone else I tell about this fight, I'm not going to name any names. They're telling me, I don't know, Justin Tafa seems pretty durable. And it's like, have you not watched his KO loss and his other two losses? And then they're saying, I think he hits harder than Lima. And it's like, they're just telling me these things that are not on tape. And I feel like people are not taping this fight properly. And I'm the only one that's taped it properly. And maybe that's why I'm confident to play a unit here. But I don't know. I've been wrong before. Maybe there's this feeling in my heart, like maybe Tafa can KO him, even though he's extremely durable, right? Just because he's open to the straight left. And he does hit harder than Blagoy. And if he goes long and Lima kind of extends him, like doesn't control his cardio, I definitely think that Tafa has the better cardio, slightly marginally. Like all the fights that he's losing, he kind of goes out on the shield and starts swinging in round 3. But yeah, I think this is a step down, man. This is a step down from Lewis. This is a step down from Waldo Acosta, a step down from Blagoy, and this is a step up from Tafa from all the bums that he's had. So I'm probably going to reduce. I'm going to reduce because the line has moved and I pivoted. I'm going to reduce 1,000 to win half a unit, 750. Just because I just feel dirty. But yeah, everyone that's giving me rebuttals, it's like they're not giving me a proper rebuttal, MJ, yeah, Stevie Legend, best in the business. Thank you for listening. Glimbot, Lima decision. I consider that. It's quite a juicy line. But it's just considering how strong of opinion I have on Tafa not being durable, then it would kind of go up against what I'm thinking. Lima opened as a favorite. Now it's Pick'em. Is it actually Pick'em? Where is it Pick'em? It's still not Pick'em on Bet365. Lima picked apart Waldo. This year shouldn't be a problem unless his chin is cracked. I mean, it really shouldn't be. It's a levels fight. He was a bigger favorite against Derek Lewis. That's what I mean. People were fading Lewis, a proven heavyweight, ranked heavyweight, and he got KO'd, which is like it was the only path that Lewis had a mean flying knee, and then now people are saying Tafa has a better chance. Like it's retarded. Andrew, Steve reducing his bets means it's a lock, 100%. Long flight for Tafa. Yeah, I'm playing both. The Lima decision, Tafa round 1 KO. Well, you're going to be disappointed when Lima kills him. News to me if it's a pick'em. Can someone tell me, is it pick'em on Bet Online? I can't go during the show. But that might be fake news. Because I would like to cash out before I get reverse CLV'd again. Alrighty. Amanda Lemos, Mackenzie Dern. Man, this honestly feels like a biggest pass on the card. Maybe I'm wrong. Alright, so it's not pick'em. Thanks for the fake news. Who are you? I'm going to find you. FIFA Gaming. Come on, mate. No, that was new. Sorry. Robert. He's from Europe. Maybe there's a crazy line in Europe. Anyway, Amanda Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern. Yeah, this feels like a massive stay away for me. Just Mackenzie. A lot of people playing Lemos, and I get it. You know, she's the cleaner striker. She's much well put together. You know, she's after watching that Andrade fight. There's no reason to think why Lemos can't do the same. I do think Andrade hits much harder, and she's a level above. But yeah, all Mackenzie Dern's fights are so volatile, so inconsistent. Looks like Angela Hill one fight, and then looks like the Andrade the next fight. She can easily be shut down, but then again, if you're not on her level to shut her down, she can just rabies you. Just throw enough, drop you. She's got some nice. Her wrestling's average, but her judo tosses are decent. So I just don't know. Amanda Lemos, she seems technical, but she's shown me some brain farts. Really bad takedown defense. Pulling guillotine twice on Zhang. I feel like she's someone that would pull guillotine on Mackenzie Dern. That's how. She has brain farts. She pulled the guillotines on Watterson. Watterson took her down easily. Obviously that Rinya standing arm triangle against Andrade. Yeah, it's a sloppy, volatile fight for me. Where I could make an argument for both. Mackenzie Dern apparently back with Perillo now. You just don't know. You just don't know what Mackenzie Dern's going to come out. And then a 36-year-old Lemos, just got rinsed by Weili Zhang and was put in some brutal ground positions that Mackenzie Dern probably just 10-8s her in. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is I can make the argument for anything. Dern sub, Lemos KO. Under at minus money, but then both these girls are tough. So yeah, it's a betting podcast, so can't have a strong bet here. So let's move on. All right, Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov. So I have a play here. As I mentioned before, this is a card where I'm not seeing things the same as the public. So I'm on Kopylov, right? I was on Kopylov at a much worse line. I still am for a little bit, but I pivoted out, waiting for this line to settle. I should have known better. It's a pay-per-view. I should have known that everyone would be steaming Hernandez, but that's fine. I'll wait a little bit and just add the rest of my stake. I had to win a unit on Kopylov. Obviously, now with this current line, I need to risk a lot less to win a unit. So I'll just wait, see where it goes. Pretty much, I get it. It's obvious. It's all the same things. Fluffy's going to keep pressuring. Roman, is gassy. He hates it. Hates pressure. Looked awful against Dariya. Blah blah blah. We get it, but I just personally, my betting style, I can't bet dudes like Hernandez at this price. Even this, the slight favorite price that some people got early. I just can't bet it. Fighters like that lose until they win, right? I can't. Maybe that's my issue. I do lean towards dogs. My best ROI is massive dogs. My second best is moderate underdogs. So I tend to lean towards that. When it's minus money, I usually look for like squash matches. Slight favorites is like my worst ROI. So, and Fluffy to me, is someone that I'll rather live bet. These dudes that lose, I'll rather live bet. So because I'm passionate, I don't want to waffle on massively. Essentially, I think it's tough for me to line this fight. I could give maybe Fluffy 60-65%. Obviously, if he gets a finish, he could look massive favorite. But then again, maybe not, because he could look like a massive underdog for 1.5 rounds. Or 2 rounds until he gets a finish. I also think Roman can look massive favorite, and he can look like an underdog until he gets a KO in round 2. I think Fluffy, he's got bad wrestling, bad entries on the outside in the center. He gets stuffed easily for the first few. Against the cage is decent. He's good at chain wrestling, but a lot of people get up. A lot of people get up against him. He needs 3, 4, 5. Usually they need to come in round 2 for him to get any control when people start to gas out. I paid attention to things like Roman's footwork on the back foot, because obviously Fluffy's going to relentlessly pressure. So I know some people say no point watching the Ribeiro fight. You can't see his takedown defense, but you see a lot of pressure in the Puno fight. So as soon as they jump on the single, he just addresses, hands on the wrists. And yeah, I mean, his footwork's amazing. He never backs up straight to the cage. He circles away from the cage. And obviously, yes, Fluffy's constantly going to pressure, but he will stand in the octagon for a few seconds. So every time Kopylov backed away from Puna and they were in the center, that's when he started ripping his body. Then Puna would pressure, he would get desperate, then he would circle out, and then it'll be in the center. There's going to be moments where Fluffy's in the center, right? He's not just going to be 100% pressure. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how you can watch the last Edmund fight where I had Edmund there, and then I pivoted to Fluffy alive, and Fluffy was an underdog after halfway through round 1, and that's why it's always better to play him live. And I played his finish props at the end. I don't know how you can watch that. The first jab that he ate, he backed up 3 steps to the cage. I don't know how you can watch him get knocked out by Marcus, not knocked out, but hurt to the body by Marcus Perez, who's just a massive decision machine. He has got no power in his punches. Obviously, Kevin Holland ran through him, but there's red flags everywhere, right? Josh Friend won round 2 against him, out-wrestled him, right? He can be taken down. Roman Kopylov took down Duraev in round 3 easily, took Puna down easily. He's been in Dagestan since that fight against Duraev. That was 2 years and 3 months. Obviously, he can go south because he looked really bad on the ground against Duraev if he gets taken down. But if he doesn't get taken down, it's tough to take down, and then they're on the feet for a bit. He's live to hurt him. I think the disparity on the feet is just massive. It's just massive. Pretty much anything that lands on Fluffy, it doesn't seem to like it. It doesn't seem, especially to the body. Yeah, I'm getting in the territory of waffling on here, but I've got so many notes. This is the fight that I had the most notes on. Again, if I lose, I'll be one of the only guys on Twitter to lose. I've got people that I despise. I don't respect them at all. They're all on Fluffy. The Twitter's on Fluffy. The people I know and I don't know are on Fluffy. I'm happy to watch those dudes win, and me be the only guy to lose. I'll rather be on the dog who's got massive favorite upside than on a massive favorite who'll be losing and could potentially get run through with a KO on minus money. That's just my preference, right? So I get it. It's not a popular play. I've even got people in my Discord posting their Fluffy tickets after I posted my Kopylov tickets, which is funny, and that's fine. The Discord is not to tail me anyway. I only started posting my picks because some people wanted to tail me. It's just it's a network of sharp people other than myself. But yeah, Kopylov, I think if he gets out of round 1 and the fight starts standing in round 2, which is his best round, I think I've had a good bet. I think I'll have a moment or two of Kopylov lighting him up. And if he gets to round 3, I think Kopylov will still have maybe a chance to knock him out in round 3. All it takes is one body shot, one head kick. So we'll see. We'll see. That's my thing. It's half a unit, by the way, so I don't mind losing half a unit. Dern lost that angry divorce energy from the heel fight. Well, apparently the divorce was happening during Andrade. Like, that's what all the court stuff was. So she didn't train much. Apparently she's training a lot more in this fight than she did that one. Romanov round 1, Romanov round 2. Yeah, the reason I'm not playing Roman Kopylov KO is because I thought it would be bad, and it turns out it is compared to the money line. Fluffy getting wobbled in the first round by Shabazian. He gets wobbled by everyone. He had a jab from Shabazian. Now tell me who has a better jab, Shabazian or Roman Kopylov from Southpaw? You'd rather lie bet Fluffy instead of Kopylov? Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to lie bet Kopylov because he looks gassed and he just gets a KO out of nowhere. He's a bit unpredictable. But yeah, I think Fluffy's, when his opponent's gassing, it's much easier to lie bet Fluffy. Kopylov is white Kevin Holland. I don't know about that comparison, but also Kopylov steps up, fight him second time. He must see something. Fluffy pulled out once. Look, everyone's crapping on Kopylov's level of competition, but Fluffy, Edmund, Barriol. By the way, Barriol broke his rib in round 1, and he couldn't get him out of there till round 3. And in round 3, Barriol was landing some strikes that Fluffy hated. This dude's only half Mexican, man. His durability is not all that. And by the way, Iron Turtle had him hurt bad in round 1 and had him hurt bad round 2. That's 2 rounds. And then Fluffy shot a takedown and got a finish. So this could be a very tilting loss, where Kopylov's getting his moments and losing, but still, it's a money play, right? It's a money line play. It's a value play. If Kopylov is hurting him, then yeah, I have to have the big dog. How does this fight go to distance? Probably if just a lot of grappling and Kopylov doesn't get submitted. Fluffy's extremely submission over position. Right, that's where I think Duraev is much better. Duraev might not have the best wrestling, even though he's daggy. When he gets a position, he holds mount. He throws ground and pound. Whereas Fluffy is just, loves to go for his guillotines and do stupid shit. Lou Betcha, Big Steve, Cop season. Let's go. Disrespect to these guys. Have Hernandez in the parlay. Is this Lou Youngbag's fight? No, I don't think so. Free Lou Betcha, I agree. Fluffy's best performance is a result of those opponents having their worst. Yeah, I mean, Fluffy has so many holes, man. He has so many holes, and he makes mistakes because he knows at the end of the day he's gonna win with his cardio. But one day someone's gonna shut Fluffy down. He's gonna shut his relentless pace, and they're just gonna take advantage of all these holes. Before my dad says anything. Cool, let's move on. Spend too much time on that fight. Merab Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo. So now we're getting into the territory of this main card, which is great fights, but I don't know how I feel about betting. Considering all the dogs, I watched that Aljo fight, and honestly, I thought he looked a little bit rusty, and I honestly thought he still almost beat Aljo. I think Aljo at that height and reach, and even his takedowns, his body lock takedowns, I think that's a lot more harder to deal with than someone Merab's size that's going to shoot for doubles and stuff against Henry, and Henry can stuff him all day. I think he's going to look much better in his second fight back from the massive layoff. I think, despite me losing money on Jan, I think it's quite clear that Jan was compromised in that fight. A lot of people making a big deal about that. Now there's reports coming out that Jan had an injured leg and an injured shoulder. Makes complete sense, man. Jan's best rounds are 3, 4, 5. The dude was completely gassed after one round. Like, people making the argument that Merab made him gassed. And if you watch his 2 Aljo fights where Aljo throws 100 strikes at him, mounts him, he's killing him on the ground, and he's still completely fresh in round 3, 4, 5. Like, some idiot in another Discord, I'm not going to name any names. I don't know if you'll listen to this, so it doesn't really matter. He said, Merab hurt his leg with a leg kick in round 1 and 2. And it's like, yeah, right, because, Merab's leg kicks are so good, like Edson Barboza, that he's going to leg kick an extremely durable Peter Yan and hurt him with one calf kick. Let's get out of here, man. Like, Merab couldn't bust a grape. His only KO is a gassed Marlon Moraes. And it's like, yeah, he hurt Peter Yan's leg with one calf kick. And Jan's eating like absolute brutal punishment from the champion O'Malley and getting beaten to a pulp from Aljo, eating clean knees to the dome and kicks and everything, and he's completely fine. There's like no scratch on him. It's quite obvious that he came in with a compromised knee and a compromised shoulder, and Merab still couldn't finish him. So yeah, I'm not holding that fight, in high regards. I don't know. I'm not saying that a completely healthy Jan doesn't lose, because Merab, in a 5-round fight, that's just perfect for him with the cardio, and Jan loves to give up, round 1 and sometimes round 2 due to volume. But I'm just saying it's important to keep it in perspective. But yeah, this is a dog or pass for me. This is a dog or pass for me. I don't know if I'll take it. It's tough. It's really tough to fade dudes like Merab. Even when he doesn't get takedowns like against Aldo and Dodson, where they just keep getting up on him, the activity just gets him the wins. But Henry can crack, man. Henry can get his own takedowns. He's got good cardio, good durability. The other times he's fought good wrestlers like Cody Stamen. I parlayed him there with Strickland, and that was a 29-28. And you look at the scorecards. 2 judges gave Stamen like 2 different rounds, so that could have easily been a split, right? So to 2 different eyes, he lost 2 different rounds, round 2 and round 3, or was it round 1? And he got cracked there as well. Has weird reactions. I've been trying to fade Merab because what I see on tape, he reacts weird to getting hit, and he can't hold people down for long. And like I said, Stamen took him down there. No reason why Cejudo is not a much better version of Cody Stamen, with more power, better wrestling. So yeah. The only thing that's putting me off is the narrative. He's old in this retirement talk, which, he's just saying if he loses, he's going to retire, which is fair enough. Like, if you on a 2-fight losing streak, he only came back to be champion. He's not there for the money. He doesn't need the money. It's all rubbish. And it's fair enough, losing to Merab, if you're Henry Cejudo, is embarrassing. You should retire. 3 rounds favors who here? I definitely favors Cejudo, man. I think Merab gets the best out of himself in 5 rounds because people can really gas out in rounds 4 and 5. It's Cejudo or pass. It's Cejudo or pass. Steve, any concerns with all the changes in Henry's camp? Nah, I mean, whatever. I was happy that he changed it up with his coach. It shows a guy that wants to get out of his comfort zone. But yeah, that's all just bullshit. You never know what to trust with Henry. It's a dog or pass, but you'll see the last few fights are exactly like that. A bunch of dog or passes that I haven't pulled the trigger on. All right, Geoff, Neal, Ian Machado, Garry. Now this fight right here, this is a clear dog or pass, and I will actually play Neal. The reason I just haven't played it is because I feel like we might get a Kopylov type of situation where the line keeps improving. It already has improved. People love to put Ian Garry in parlays. So that's why I haven't played it, but I definitely will play Neal. And here's my thing, right? I was going to play Luke against Garry, right? And that was a much easier fight for Garry. Garry could have easily stuck a move against Luke. Luke is a lot more stationary, much more hittable, worse durability, right? We've seen Neal knock him out as the first person to do it. A lot more flat-footed, can be taken down easier. And I was still going to play him because the line was much better than Geoff Neal. And he had that lead check hook, which Garry loves to get hit with, and just the power dynamic. He always gets dropped. He gets dropped by bums, like Khan, Quinlan Song and Williams. So it's like, punches chance on Luke, I'll take it, right? It was like plus 350. And now he's getting a much better fighter. Geoff Neal, the guy that knocked out Luke, the guy that, we're getting some recency bias. I think he was the last guy to beat the crap out of Bilal. That guy looked like a world champion. And it's a shame that he got sick because I think he might have been a world champion, right? After he got sick, he's putting in performances like Stephen Thompson and Neil Magny, like a split to Santiago Ponzinibbio. Man, he should have knocked out Santiago Ponzinibbio in round 1. But you see against Luke, that's the old Neal is back. And honestly, the Shafkat fight, where he hurts Shafkat in round 3, he takes an ungodly amount of damage. All those knees, all those punches, he gets hurt like 3-4 times by Shafkat. Shafkat submitted him, but that's easily Shafkat's hardest fight. When has Shafkat even broken a sweat in the UFC? Prazeres, Harris, Magny, never. Even against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he had a injured leg, and he just cage humped and got a submission the first time he presented himself. So this, I don't understand. It's scary because, Garry's going to be that guy that's going to stay on the outside and kick and have more volume, and he's going to attempt to do what Wonderboy attempted to do. And, it's just like everyone is saying he's this future, he's this good guy, potential. But seeing it on tape, how can you watch any of these fights? Quinlan Song, awful. Gabe Green, awful. Darian Weeks, how can you watch any of these fights? Yeah, he's getting 30-27s. But these guys don't have the power. They don't have the explosion. They don't have the durability of Geoff Neal. Some of these other guys have dropped him. Yeah, I don't know what to say. The Neal Magny fight is just awful, right? That's the easiest fight to get in the rankings. He just a couple of leg kicks and shot Neal's grappling. Neal Magny's grappling down, and you look massive favorite, right? You just see a lot of people can beat Neal, even Malott. He's just until they're gassed. It's not hard to beat Neal, So that was the easiest fight for him to get in the rankings. And now he's getting Geoff Neal, piston of a left hand, hits like a truck, elite takedown defense, elite durability. This is going to be competitive on the feet, with maybe Ian getting, a couple more leg kicks, calf kicks there, looking a bit cleaner. But what happens when Geoff lands a straight left down the pipe and he hurts him, and then he just starts unloading? Or if he's still there in round 3 and it's competitive and it's 1-1 going into the third, and Neal lands what he landed on Shafkat, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Again, it's hard for me to lay it, go big because, it's just, I don't know. It's fight where the tape is not giving me a strong lean. It's going to be a competitive striking fight, and I'm not really good at getting leans. All I can see is that Garry's not going to look this much of a favorite. And if he does, then it's either a fix, or Geoff is all of a sudden washed, or he came in unprepared or something like that. But we'll see. But yeah, I'm definitely going to play this one. Easy dog or pass. Alrighty. What do we got for the comments? Good breakdown. Thank you, Michael West. I don't know which fight you're talking about, but I appreciate it. Neal keeps jumping here between 3 and 250. I'll definitely take 3. Thoughts on another Garry sub? NTT, I hate him. You know how I feel about him. Just like the Robocop sub last week. No offense if you played it. Just a retarded bet. I don't know why you like losing money. Like Robocop against the guy with the lead takedown defense. I just don't know. Maybe someone can tell me why you like throwing money away on Robocop submission. It seems to be people want to be the first ones to hit it when it happens, but it's just stupid to me. Ian using his baby as a prop in front of camera. Yeah, Ian's just a retard. I could not have a drink with Ian, tell you that. Have the over 2.5. Yeah. Neal wasn't even 100% in that fight and still gave shot. Yeah, he missed weight by a lot. He looked off, and he's going to fight for your money, especially when Safe Cejudo is screaming in his ear. Pierce, how did I get? Blah, blah. D-Rod was 92 when he took that fight. Yeah, I mean, D-Rod, man. That was competitive on the feet up until D-Rod was knocked out. By the way, Neal always has a high guard, and he's always catching head kicks on the guard. But he has a sneaky head kick, and so does Ian Garry. But you saw Stephen Wonderboy, every time he threw a head kick, it caught Geoff Mueller's left hand. Last time I bet Garry was Gabe Green and felt close, but I didn't rewatch. Neil Magny was weird because he didn't finish him even though it was free. Correct. Gabe Green felt close because he kept pressuring him. And his footwork's nowhere near like Wonderboy. He always gets backed up to the cage. But luckily, he just kept clipping Green and dropping him and getting the big moments that he needed. Ian Garry sub donation lock. Yeah, if you want to donate. Steve, how many units do you have on Costa Yam Bagaroos? I might put $100 on it. We'll see. All right. Robert Whittaker, Paulo Costa. Again, another dogger pass. With Robert's durability, I can never play his favorite line. Some of these other locks, like him against Vittori and Gastelum, I completely passed because of that durability. I've never forgotten about it. I watched Whittaker since he was a welterweight. I went to his fights live in Melbourne. I did play him against Cannonier, but he was a pick'em there, and I thought he had potential to cover, and he almost knocked out Cannonier, but then he almost got knocked out in round 3. And then for some reason, I completely missed out on a Duplessis fade. I was in Europe, so I wasn't taping as much. But yeah, in a weird way, I ultimately think Duplessis, someone who is a welterweight, has more physicality than Costa, who wouldn't look small at light heavyweight. Duplessis is just a freak of nature, right? He's got much bigger reach as well. Costa, he's going to come forward. He pressures. His best strikes, the body kick, the head kick, and a left hook to the body and check hook when he's got you up against the cage and he counters people with it. Hit Romero with it, hit Rockhold. I'm sure he can get Robert because Robert, blitzes in and his hands are low and he's always down to get countered. He got jabbed. He got intercepted by Duplessis. So intercept is life here. It's just the speed. The speed is a massive difference for Whittaker here. He can mix in takedowns. Paulo Costa is just, he's got a lot of holes. He comes forward and pressures and he's durable, but he kind of slows and has to push through it. But yeah, he's in shape. I don't know if he's made weight. It hasn't happened yet, but he's in shape and it looks like the fight's going to go on. So that's the first step. So it's a dogger pass for me. But yeah, it's one of those ones, where Whittaker's going to look levels above until he doesn't. Maybe a live bet is better here. I agree with Lou. Lou said this was the best Yambags fight, and I watched the Rockhold fight, and the dude hit him in the nuts like 3 times, and then I remember he hit Uriah Hall in the nuts, and he always gets eye pokes, and so yeah, on blue bet I'll bet it maybe $50. It's probably going to be $11 plus 110. Costa has been training with Mr. Fuji to learn how to throw poison salt and when he needs an edge. Correct. All right, let's move on. Main event of the evening. Great fight. Amazing fight. This is what pay-per-views are all about. In terms of betting, though, I don't know how I feel. Alexander Volkanovski, Elliott Topuria. I really, really wanted to bet Alexander. He is my pre-tape lean, and then as I taped it, I still feel like he's the side. If I had to play something, he's the side. But I don't like how much he gets hurt. right? I don't like how much he gets hurt, and you go a lot of fights. Max Holloway in that second one twice, then he came back and won. Makhachev multiple times in the first fight, obviously knocked out in the second fight. Ari Rodriguez cracked him a few times. Chad Mendes, obviously. I do feel like he had a game plan to be really reckless against Chad Mendes to break him. That has to be said. But Brian Ortega, I think he's just really, really comfortable. He's cocky, comfortable. He's happy to eat one, to return one, and he knows if he gets dropped, he's going to get up and do his thing. So, yeah, I don't like that about him. But I do feel like he's got a lot of advantages here. I think he's got the speed, he's got the cardio, obviously the 5-round, all that crap, the narrative, blah, blah, blah. He's the champ. Motivated Volkanovski is good luck, man. Good luck. Topuria, he's talented. I agree, he's talented, but he's going to come pressure forward and he's going to implement a predominantly boxing style fight with pressure, and he's going to try to be a Volkanovski. I don't know. I think that's why I favor Volkanovski. Volkanovski can fight on the back foot. I watched his third fight against Max, where Max pressured a lot, and just constantly circling off the cage, landing an uppercut, landing a 1-2 on the exit. The speed is going to it's going to be massively crazy. But like I said, Topuria's boxing just improved so much in his last couple of fights. His jab is decent. He was very patient against Emmett. Just jabbed, didn't want to do anything. He won fights by won rounds by doing barely anything. Just jabbing, avoiding the big shots, calf kicking, and then when he needed the big moments, pretty much every time he threw a combination, he knocked Emmett down. Again, Emmett, super easy to game plan for. You can see his hooks coming from a mile away. You can hide behind the shoulder to just block a looping hook. Now he has to worry about calf kicks here. He's extremely heavy on the lead leg. Someone said he wasn't as heavy on his lead leg against Emmett. I thought it looked the same to me. Just Emmett threw one leg kick in 5 rounds. He's going to have to worry about leg kicks. He's going to have to worry about Volkanovski going for takedowns, even though I don't think he's going to hit him. He has really good takedown defense, Topuria. But, Volkanovski's going to mix him up. It's not going to be a cakewalk. I'm going to pressure Volkanovski and I'm going to knock him out. And I'm going to drop him whenever I throw. He might drop him, but then Volkanovski's going to come and get up like he did against Chad, and he's going to pressure to get the round back. And then Topuria's like, oh, crap, I wanted to take some time to breathe after I dropped him, but now he's swinging on me. It's just the dynamic. I've seen Topuria slow down. I definitely do think, without a doubt, Volkanovski has better cardio. But yeah, it's just how hittable he is. The Topuria strikes me as someone that like a DDP. You come forward, shell up, block everything that's coming from Volkanovski. Eat it on the chin, eat the leg kicks, and then just land 1 or 2 big one on the ear, drop Volkanovski, and then that's Topuria's round. And then Volkanovski's being more patient. And then the round's extremely close, and then it just comes down to a big shot from Topuria, because Volkanovski's even more, cautious. He doesn't do anything to separate. So that's why I'm kind of passing at Pick'em. I'm trying to see, maybe the live bet is better. If we see it's kind of cautious, it's kind of close. Topuria has some big moments early, but now it's maybe 1-1, maybe 2-1, and now you're like, all right, Volkanovski's confident. This is prime Volkanovski. He's he's going to come on 4 and 5. Then maybe the live bet is a bit easier. But I don't know. It's Volko pass for me, honestly. I don't think this Topuria is going to come out and run through him. And, definitely not at Pick'em. No interest. If you got Topuria as a dog, I don't mind that. It's decent. But yeah, that's where we're at. Drake MMA, best show on YouTube. Thank you, sir. Too much respect after first Islam fight. Can't fade him after that. The weight size. I mean, he hurt Islam as well. He hurt a lightweight on the feet. Topuria has a good chin, but it's what happens when Volkanovski gets on top, maybe round 3 or 4, and he's just landing that ground and pound, and Topuria has to get up. He might be durable, but fighters can be broken, right? Cardio-wise. And still, possibly. I mean, I think this is he's not fighting someone tall. I don't know. It's a tough fight, man. It's a tough fight. We'll see. As I said, this main card, Geoff Neal, Costa, Volkanovski, Henry Cejudo, it's just a bunch of dogs that I want to hit, and I haven't pulled the trigger yet. Kopylov is the only one I pulled the trigger on. because it just has instant moment where you can look like a massive favorite and you won your money, but it's going to be sweaty as well. So I don't think I did much different with my new way of breaking down the fights. Honestly, I still went 50 minutes, which is too long. But yeah, I don't know. Let's go through it, and I'll give you my best bets. Elliott, dogger pass. Woodburn, dogger pass, and plus money over. Quinlan, I don't know, pass all around. Zhang, Ribeiro, maybe some sort of under props. Nakamura, some sort of finish prop. I've got the Lima here. Lemos, Dern, pass all the way around. I've got Kopylov here, half a unit. Cejudo, will pass. Geoff, Neal, will pass. Paulo Costa, will pass. And Volkanovski, will pass. So that's where we're at. What's my best bet? I mean, I'm already going to cop it when everyone in the world wins on Hernandez and I lose on Kopylov. But I guess that's my best bet. I'd rather give you that than Lima, to be honest. Even though I think Lima can win in round 1. But yeah, it's a scary card. It's a rough card. Hopefully I don't get burned here. I want to get 20,000 for the month, and if I get 20,000 profit after February, that means I'm on track for 120,000, which would be more than double my profit last year. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it would be good to stay ahead. 4 or 5 decisions instead of money line for Volk, much better. Yeah. I do think early Topuria definitely has the more finishing upside. Great fight, man. I'm fine with not having pre-bet on this. Enjoy the fight. Maybe look for live bet. That's how I feel. Quath, MMA. Think Volk wins till Topuria catches him. Durability edge over 5 rounds is fun to bet against. Well, we don't know how durable Topuria is. I mean, actually, we do. He had a couple of head kicks. Yeah, it's pretty durable. Do you bet PFL Bellator? Of course I do, sir. If so, any thoughts on the lines they've just released? I can't really go and bet online during stream. Let me check this. Oh, by the way, I'll give you a free KSW bet. I have Tobias Lee in KSW. I have $1.74, $1.71. I cap him at 60-65%. I faded this other kid as a massive favorite before, and he lost round 1 knockout. I just think Tobias Lee is a more well-rounded fighter. I think he can levels in the striking, and he just needs to sprawl and brawl. So that's a bet for me on KSW. They released odds for PFL. Topuria got hurt by MMA. I just want to add, Topuria is very hittable, right? Very hittable. He's got a high guard, and he loves to counter in the pocket. I think he can definitely win that fight in the pocket. But yeah, like someone said, round 3, Emmett was not wobbling, but just like he was going all over the place because he kept getting countered while flat-footed. And as I said, Volk has the much better speed. So later on, when his power is a little bit less, and he's planting to throw in the pocket, I think Volk is going to light him up. He's going to be so much quicker. He's going to be left, right, uppercut, and he's going to be out of there. I pissed off Volkanovski. Is a different breed. Yeah, by the way, I did my last jiu-jitsu comp, and I got smoked. And I was coming back from an injury. I barely trained. I cut weight the wrong way. I had like a pudgy stomach. And, I had the toughest opponent I ever had. And I was still... It was a draw to the last 30 seconds, and then I didn't tap and I hurt my arm. And it just humbled me how important, training for these comps. I was winning them all easily. And then I took a step up. Like I said, no training for ages, hurt my neck. And I just came in there and rushed it. So I just know what a big difference is. Volkanovski had surgery on his elbow. He was drinking every day. I wasn't drinking every day, but my diet was horrible. And he just comes in there, flies to Dubai against Makhachev. People say, yeah, he got knocked out straight away. So it's not like he was out of shape. But taking those fights on short notice, there's a mental thing in there. Right, I came in against this dude, and I was gassed in 10 seconds. Right, so a proper Volkanovski, training Volkanovski, I know how motivated he is because I'm also like training like crazy now. There's a big difference. It's going to be in shape, motivated. Volkanovski that's going to be careful, doesn't want to get knocked out. Like, I mean, good luck to Topuria, man, but I think Volkanovski should be slight favorite at least. Did you tape any of the MMA fights for one? No, I didn't get a chance. It just got released. Let's look at this. PFL Bellator. What do we got? Ryan Bader. I've only got DraftKings and Betway. So, Emblem, it's a bit juiced. Pinedo, massive favorite against people. Jackson, massive favorite. Jesus. Nemco, massive favorite against Capitalizer. Yeah, none of these interest me. AJ McKee. Braga, I'm liking Braga. Aaron Pico, yeah, he's a beast. He's a savage, but he's still chinny. So Braga is that's the first line that jumps out at me. I don't know who the hell this Carissa Shields' opponent is. Some bum probably. Abdullah, he's pretty decent. Obviously, they're giving him a bum because this line is insane. Thiago Santos minus 142. Yeah, I think both him and Yoel Romero are kind of washed, so that's a doggle pass. These Nemkov and Bruno Capelloza and Ryan Bader, Ryan Ferreira fights, they're all going to be unders. Destroy PFL unders. So, yeah, that's the first thing that sticks out to me. And Ferreira, I played him against Goltsov in the last fight. I think the Ryan Bader fight is probably easy than Goltsov. So that's all I'll say. Yeah, Bader's chinny. Don't forget about that. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. I don't know if I really did my breakdowns like I said I would. I still waffled on too much on the fights that I don't have a bet. But yeah, I'll try to perfect it some more. Like and subscribe, and yeah, good luck on your bets.